everyone, Scott Movie Mance here for Collider. And one thing that I've been raving about on Collider videos for your consideration is the film First Cow. So that's why I am very, very excited to conduct this interview with Orion Lee about First Cow. Now, the film tells a story of two opportunists in 1820s Oregon who take advantage of their take on the American dream. And Orion Lee, I would love to hear your take on the screenplay when you read it for the very first time.
At the end of it, I was puzzled because I was like, why am I weeping? And because as I went through the script, I didn't feel there was any particular emotion coming up. It wasn't a particularly emotional script. But then at the end, I read that sort of last line, and I wept, and I was like, wow, what's happened here? And I think what happened is, as I reflect upon it more, I think what it is Kelly's managed to create a structure which is like friendship. And like friendship, it doesn't start off with passionate fireworks. It's just, hey, how you doing? Oh, what's your name? Oh, yeah, okay, cool. And then, you have a chat, and then you might see the other guy again or girl again, and then, you say, have another chat, and then years go by, and suddenly, if that friendship was ever gone, you would feel the loss. And the movie kind of does that too, or the script kind of does that too.
I got to tell you, so this relationship between King Lou, your character, and Cookie, played by John Magaro. So both of these guys, have seemingly nothing in common, but they really connect, and they do it in a way that is absolutely authentic and genuine and believable. First of all, why do you think these two guys connect, and how did you and John connect to capture that chemistry?
Long questions. Good questions. So the first part is when I was reading the script and I was discussing the character with Kelly. My initial, on reading the script, I thought these were two soulmates. These were two people who were very similar, who had the similar sort of background and a similar sort of attitude to life, and so they became friends. When I had a chat to Kelly, though, she was like, "No, they're complete opposites," and I struggled with that because I believe similarities connect rather than opposites. It said, King Lou's very brash and charming and like a con man, and I was like, oh wow, how do I? But in that sort of puzzle, I was like struggling over it. I came to this kind of idea for the backstory of King Lou, which basically, I'm going to cut it short and basically say that when he was younger, he was pretty much Cookie's character, very quiet, very reserved. And then, this was when he was a child. And then he had to leave. He didn't have to leave, but he left China, sailed around the world. And in that process, he had to learn how to become very social, very sort of personable, and hey, how you doing? And have a chat in different languages, and as a kind of survival mechanism. And then it became him. Like when you do something over and over and over and over again, you become that new person. But deep down, actually, he is that quiet, reserved person that Cookie is. And so when they meet, it's not necessarily they don't necessarily think that they're soulmates or but something clicks in them deep down, that they have a similar sort of background or philosophy. In terms of more practically acting-wise with John, I think, we didn't ever sit down and go, oh, how are we going to portray this relationship? How are we going to connect as friends? we just met each other. I was like a friendship, like I just said, we just met each other, said hi, how you doing? And then we went on the camp together for 3 days, learning about the period and how to cook, how to make twine, how to make a fire out of flint and stone. But even then, we never chatted about, oh, this is how we're going to do it. And again, I've reflected upon that, and I think what it is, perhaps, was two actors listening to each other, like really listening, because we didn't talk about what we were going to do. We had to sit in the scene and listen to each other. And see what the other person was offering up, and then throw the ball back and forth, and it's actually really rare for that to happen.
I agree with you. It is rare, and that was one of the things when I saw this movie for the first time. I was really struck. I was really affected by that connection, but I was also really affected by just how authentic and lived in Kelly Reichardt's depiction of the 1820s felt. Like, it really felt like you were in it. And I didn't even realize that you had sort of done like a boot camp to capture all of that. So tell us more about that.
That boot camp was, we had a guy guiding us, and he sort of showed us lots of different things about trappings. My character trapped some small animals for food, and we learned about making the fire with flint and stone. When we were on set doing it, I was like slowly getting the tinder and just. And suddenly it flared up, and it was like, whoa! And then chucked it into the fire where the wood was. But that scene, that didn't catch. They didn't actually use that scene in the film. And how to make twine out of like sort of a plant stalk and things like that. It was just really useful, and then the rest of it is the genius of the costume and design department and makeup department, and everybody, really, the whole team was so fantastic to work with, to be with. That sort of familial, friendly set was amazing to be on. Really, really good.
Well, this is like the first lead role you've ever had in a movie. So what were those challenges like for you? Like, how did you like sort of psych yourself up to be like, okay, this is a big step for me as an actor?
For any actors that are out there listening to this, I was nervous. I had done lead roles in stage before, but this was such a big thing, and to work with Kelly as well. And really, I sort of took the approach that I was just going to go scene by scene, and because actors all know how to do scenes. We've done scenes for to audition to go to drama school. We've done scenes in drama school. We've done auditions, which are scenes, just short scenes, and then we've probably done quite a bit of work already as short scenes in films and television and so on. And so I took that approach. I'm only going to think about the whole movie as just one scene, and then one scene, and then one scene, and so all I did was exactly what I'd done for everything I've already done, which is just work on a scene. And also I wanted that sort of intensity when you just work on the scene on a short period, and you want that sort of that intensity going into that time period, as opposed to the same intensity split over in this period of this whole movie. so that helped a lot. And that's the way I thought about it. The other interesting thing which came up though was I was thinking about the arc, because I was worried if I was working scene by scene, would there be a character arc? And the interesting thing about that is, one, you can, as an actor, you can leave that to the story, and you can leave that to the audience, because they will create the arc for you. And the story will create the arc for you. And I really believe, as a person, you are many different things at many different times, depending on the situation, or in this case, the scene. So you don't have to think, oh, okay, I'm going to be continually, I don't know, nice, or continually this, or so that there's a consistency to the character. No, I don't think you do. I think you, like a person in life, you do many different things, and then the audience gets to say, you know what, this is this person, this is the character.
So the interesting thing is, like, you know, you've worked on such big films like Star Wars: The Last Jedi, Skyfall. What's it like going, even though your role obviously is a lead in First Cow, but going from such a big production where I'm guessing the craft services on Skyfall was bigger than the entire budget for First Cow.
First of all, craft services were fantastic on First Cow. So, you know, no complaints there at all. The main thing is the amount of time, I guess, you get with the director. Although, you know, when you're on the set, you know, every director I've worked with has been very generous with their sort of time. But the main thing is, that access to the director, sort of pre-it and then during it. And because it is really the director's vision, and that's, you know, the movie is Kelly's vision, and part of my job is to help create that. And I think I would say that's one of the main things. In terms of budget, you know, we had all we needed in the forest, the Oregon forest, you know, the Oregon landscape. You know, so, and then in terms of, as an actor, I mean, those sets and those costumes and those props, all those departments were so fantastic to work with. So you end up being in the time and in the space. Yeah.
So the end of this film, don't want to spoil it for those of you who haven't seen it yet, but please make sure you do see it. It's on demand. So just overall, like, what's your take on a film that really leaves it open to interpretation, that leaves it up to you, the movie watcher, to draw your own conclusions, like this movie does?
Oh, gosh. That's a wonderful thing about Kelly's work, is it, you know, to me it is like art, like a work of art which you the audience get to participate in and to decide what it is. I, as an actor, have to have a very specific idea about what I'm doing and what it is that I'm doing, and I did. I'm hesitating because I'm like, okay, I don't want to say it because I want the audience to have their own decision about what's going through my character's mind in the last moments, and you know, given what the film has happened. So I'm not going to say it, but if anybody wants to ask me, they can. And yeah, it is Kelly's work of art, and she invites the audience to come in and be a part of it and to have their own sort of interpretation, their own say of what it is that they're watching.
Well, last question I have for you, Orion, is that because it was such a, again, I just have talked about this movie so much here on Collider, and I'm so happy to be talking to you about it. And just, I would love to know your your growth, your evolution as an actor from before you made this movie to after shooting wrapped? How do you feel like you grew as an actor working with Kelly?
I think one of the main things is, I really believe, what's the term that's going around? No a-hole.
No a-hole policy.
Kelly is such a wonderful director to work with. In the process of creating the character of King Lou and Cookie, we both kind of became a little bit towards that. And so me as an actor, I ask tons of questions and be like, hey, how you doing? And Cookie, and John Magara was very quiet, didn't ask a lot of questions. But Kelly adapted sort of to us, to handling us differently, because we were both, moving towards the characters. And sort of that flexibility and also that trust in the director who's so good that they're watching everything and they'll steer you if they need to. And yet, she leaves a lot of things just open to you to do as an actor, so that you can do your job. So that and that thing I just mentioned about the arc, and I always thought, oh, character arc, but actually you don't need to. You can just concentrate on the scenes. And then finally, the thing is, I just feel so blessed to have been, just part of this project, and just working on that set, and it's just going to be a highlight throughout my life.
Well, I want to thank you so much for joining us here on Collider to talk about First Cow. And everyone watching, please make sure, if you've already seen the movie, watch it again. I'm telling you, it's even better the second time around. First Cow is on demand. It's on home entertainment. Orion Lee, thank you so much for this amazing interview. And please continue to stay safe and promise me that the next time I see you, it'll be in person.
Okay. Thank you for being a great interviewer.
Thank you so much. Have a great one.